Guys, it's Parker here, back with part 5 of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And you may find an article on the back page of interest as well. On the back, cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. I already did. It's all written in Russian, I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at that article. I did look at the article, but okay. Before we started talking, you're examining Kasuma's desk, weren't you? Kasuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kasuma's keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but... I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic! And something you have to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective one of her trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruto-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what's the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese? A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara? Bonsai, Mikado, Nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Not really. Haha. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what's that about showing off before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I'd be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I am much obliged, my dear madame. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? Are you talking about a snake? I have no idea. I had never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say. The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kasuma's diary isn't entered. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victims writing in this diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds are about stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking! You just said it only a moment ago! Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had to face a criminal, you know? Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha. Now he's just being plain rude. He's such an ass. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is twisted his name. Now hold us down. What are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What are these? Hiya! After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments stricken believe was a coup, you're willing to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? I mean, he literally just rolled over. He just rolled him over. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can. Okay, good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I want Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. I mean, what else do you want to investigate? When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal and they seal together perfectly. There will be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles. Okay. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, says out of sound. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question when and how the plate ended up on the floor. Probably from the waves. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, sorry, so he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on his earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Oh, look over there. The crewman, you mean? Oh, he wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again, but I suppose I could try. Is something wrong now, Hoda-san? That's Hosonaga-san, isn't it? Oh no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what can I do for you? I recognize that face, but it can't be. It is! I didn't know you here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew on board the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Mr. Justice G. Goku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he trusted me in ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even be a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Mr. Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time I've been aboard, from morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it happened here inside his own cabin, not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I could do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything all that I could do to help now, just say the word. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door. That stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose. I'm just stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with? Do you think I'm going to need something persuasive? What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think about it, try to persuade me of your innocence, Naruto-san. By presenting me a piece of evidence they already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you're in court. Simply present. Okay. Choose some evidence. Is Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like a speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, I was trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me, the ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right, so if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain here has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime we see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs though. But what about the captain? Are you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that. I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I could do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruto-san. Just select move. Okay, move. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-san was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in the first class cabin. Even so, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. There's another crewman keeping watch. It looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next to me leads to second class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose, like people in handcuffs. Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used by the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when he first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. It is? Well, consider it the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan. Yes, they're not metal, but they're enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than a ship. And if they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happy in the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so, but that doesn't really answer the question of why the boat is floating in the first place. So that was just like, I don't know. That's a huge book on the top of the table there and this pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall I have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage is meticulously recorded. You don't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful writing. And nothing, no reaction at all. I thought you might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruto-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presuming that means there was nothing to report. There's nothing to report here. Huh. But that's weird. Wouldn't they, even report anything, even if nothing happens in the ship? I was thinking about making a run for it just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reached for the handle of the door, that burly seaman was surely sure you did. Dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Excuse me, but could you ask me something? You little stowaway murderer! That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid? Oof. Oh, you seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me a name. And what's your name then? I am senior crewman Beef Stroganoff. Phew, that's the best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Okay, let's talk to this guy. Mr. Stroganoff, about this first-class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Buria, steamship for very important persons. What sort of important persons? Government officials, king and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. This is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow, that stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Da! Susato-san, do you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Sogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Rodet. He is very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder of student boy. How can you be so sure of that? Mr. Rodet is an authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lonely student for insignificant Far East islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Rodet came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time. I never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Alright. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganov? Duh, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Mrs. Sato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said no! Sorry! I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he couldn't catch my eye for a moment there. Something suspicious is going on here. This is enough. I cannot say no more now. Oh, it's time for me to report to cabin. Captain, you must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second class area, staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain. Or as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what it tastes like. You can't eat it now, Roseanne. The trap will snap shut in your fingers. Really? But I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin in steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and how many cabins are there? I mean, it's a pretty big ship, so... What do you think this is? It's very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing, Naruto? You mustn't touch it. This is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know, fool, well, that's not what the alarm's for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop, this ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. That's good advice. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one there to help us with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. Must have been a woman. Stand aside. What? I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholme, I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, a rebel and kicking doors off their hinges. Why? Please, wait, Mr. Sholme. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress or relief. Who are you? A Western gentleman? Smile expression to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person here. But in that case, we just scream. Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimspy Rollet, I believe? Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholme. You heard of me, no doubt? No. I am a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you may trust me completely. The man who uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So, might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How can anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, it's not? Traveling inside one's trunk? Don't look at me. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now! Otherwise, I'll call the steward. So this Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimspy Rolot? There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Well, Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting for the inevitable time that we need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh, and it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Rolot, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truce, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what are you about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's grade and my great deduction to the case. Okay. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of these things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses is hard to ignore, especially at first meeting, but I once read, it's a capital mistake to theorize before we have all the evidence. It biases his judgment. Judgment. Shh! I must have complete silence! Why? What are you doing? Why are you peering in my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Rolot, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears are about to end the existence of something most dear. What? Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I've drawn. You are. At this very moment, no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you've been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined to witness one of Mr. Sholme's great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction. Nothing could deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he could deduce all there is to know about a person. But he didn't even use any logic at all. He just like looked at an appearance. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Okay. Old man's identity. So the dubious looking Russian Mr. Roulette obviously will catch his eye in the first place. It's an enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? I mean, isn't he? I mean, he has a newspaper in his pocket. What if he was cutting the newspaper? Why else would he have the scissors? Conclusion. A revolutionary on the run. Okay. Topic 2. Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this moment, at the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Ah yes, Mr. Rolot. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes astray, you see. That. And I assure you that I speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the further glance falls. The proof of the crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be seeing inside, you ask? By my estimation. A young lady, perhaps, one slight enough to fit therein. No, I really don't think a person can fit in there unless they're a baby. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady? This traveling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless cope deal betrays you. Once again, we only follow your further glance to find an answer. Yes, the reason you refused to open your traveling case can easily be found in pages of this newspaper. Okay, but I really don't think she could fit in that traveling case. I really don't think she's that small. Conclusion, kidnapping of a young ballerina. No, I really don't think she could fit in that bag. And the person here like doesn't even look like the criminal in the newspaper. You know, they said the ballerina is escaping from Shanghai, right? So what if she just disguised herself as that? Because there's no way she could fit in that freaking bag. Like, come on, man. Like, isn't this obviously a disguise? No, they don't look like each other. Sholmes. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you push it really hard. See? I don't suppose so. No, I don't think she's 5. She's 15. There's no way a 15-year-old child could fit in there. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troubled man consuming vinegar daily in order to promote certain lightness in their bodies. No, I really don't think she could do that. Ugh, this whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholme's deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Mr. Zato. It's just 1 or 2 keywords in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactically switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholme's great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. It's not that funny. Where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dastardly deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholme, you are a marvel. He probably had a key or something. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrist when you're finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I already say like this. So, let us begin. Herlock Sholme is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Okay, here we go, I guess. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholme. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Rollout. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use the shears on. What if he was cutting the newspaper instead? Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to stitch around the last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Rollout really going to use those enormous shears for? Ooh, I could like... Whoa! Whoa there, mister! You got some hair over there! Yes. I didn't even notice! You're on the verge of using shears to cut away the golden Loxy sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise details intending to expose the Asher. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging for I mean, guys can have long hair like that too, but okay, I guess in this era it's not. And judging for the length and sheen of your hair, one's still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I managed to come out my hair, no one would have suspected. The question that begs is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Because she's the ballerina. Yeah, we could just switch the article to the ballerina thing. I had no idea that old man was a real young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise. Now I understand. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room, deducing the facts of Mr. Sholme. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business, not strictly... Oh, yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Sholme's deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all right now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Rolla is actually a woman. Exactly, he, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless or revolutionary. Okay. She's the ballerina.
this!
The evidence that reveals the true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina, the Volvavich Ballet, disappears in Shanghai. It would appear we were finally able to address the very true name. Yes, because the true identity is that the Novavich Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolina Pavlova! Dad! Oh my god! You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Alright, we got this. A ballerina on the run. Solved. Oh boy, we're continuing, I guess. Now, as for my second conclusion. This woman is the ballerina and she's right in front of her eyes, so clearly she can't be inside the traveling case as well. No, that's right, it seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is this crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see us going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased now, Hodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. It's a very small case, isn't it? You can see instantly that no person could possibly fit inside there. So does that tell us that Miss Pavlova's telling Gonz's direction was focused on something else? If that's true though, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Well, there's nothing incriminating inside this case. Why did she refuse to let us look inside? Yes, I wonder why. Oh, what's this tiara? Wow, look at this dazzling tiara! I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruto-san, try it on! What, me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiara? Hey, guys can wear tiaras too. Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Alright, presenting this tiara. The proof of crime is clearly this tiara. Da! I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novavich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. Yes, you left their ballet troupe, along with taking their precious tiara with you. Dag! I have no one, no family, no friends, I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not see the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an earl? A Prussia? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I'll tell you everything. There's no point hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wished it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of her case, even before I've ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to life of crime, are we? Your careless cope deal betrays you. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholme is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why is he suddenly brought the bookshop into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area, if that's where her gaze is involuntarily drawn. I agree, that's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside the case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase.
Yes!
Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep Yaya. Inside the case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That's the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As you've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item will move of its own accord. Which leaves the one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. It's the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet. Ah! Conclusion. Possession of a prohibited animal. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. So clearly you aren't who you said you were. No, I am not Grinspy, Rolot. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet's company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Ballerina is a huge strange steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that allowed the scream you heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell, why, not other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away from Shanghai. In Shanghai, I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transform yourself into that questionable old man I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard, then just before he came in here I saw it in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At the precise moment, we walked into an annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? The things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You're right, it's my dear friend inside, my only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. The captain finds out if you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you, but in return... You must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't something Mr. Sholme's great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrist. My... Yeah, your hands are cold again. What? But how? True to my word, I've restored your shackles. Grr, when and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast upon over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say. It can't be helped at the moment. Can it? Really? Anyways, listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-san wrote about his diary really was. Okay, I guess they're talking to you now. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition, made out of striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine! I need it to live! I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship, they have all been so kind to me. They let me come on board and they said I could hide in this cabin. That is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova. It creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation to a conundrum. I'm not sure, but... Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to Zoosphere, it was only yesterday that you absconded for a ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the Esespuria stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be on board? An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It's how the Russian newspapers describe one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Oh. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholme once said, I never can resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection, words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderful startling advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Sholme. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha ha! You credit Russia as the land of small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunkers when it comes to understanding the nature of young Ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken! Really? Consider the benefits. A roasting wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it can satisfy the needs of sustenance. So eat your friends, I'll remember that. Well, it appeared that this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret, not to be revealed. Ha 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 ha. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. Just something I'd like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote it his last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads 1:23 a.m. And then a few minutes later, some sort of speckled band is hanging from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator mentions joins to this cabin you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you, or the whistling sound perhaps? No, I don't know anything. Oh. Excuse me, Mr. Rolot. Yes, what? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave, now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Rolot. Get out! The passage just said out! Or do you want me to throw you out? Looks like we have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. To be continued. Okay guys, I think that'll be it for part 5 of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.